What's up, guys? Boogie Reacts back again. Welcome back to my channel. And today, guys, I'm just gonna be going through a couple of videos with you guys. You know, just to first to talk about all these dating craziness going around in 2025. And like I always tell you guys, if you think dating was crazy in 2024, 2025 has started off with a bang. All right. So just know it's crazy. All right. It's crazy. And as you can see, the first video already, the title itself is crazy. All right. Apparently, this woman let her gay best friend hit it. Now she got pregnant. Now she may need some child support. The guy says the kid is not his. But the question is, was he really gay? You feel me? So those are all the questions we need answers to. And we're going to go through all these videos with you guys. Don't forget, as soon as you come in, just hit the subscribe button. If this is your first time here, support your boy, road to 5,000 subscribers as always. But dating is crazy. Honestly, the way I see it, relationships 5-10 years from now are going to be half what they are right now. Because even the people who are together right now are not happy. You feel me? So it's like some men are giving up because women's standards keep going higher and higher and higher. So I don't know, is it worth it? So as you can see in this first video, this woman says she's the prize. Even if she's a single mom, she doesn't care. You as the new stepfather or the new guy she's going to talk to, she's better than you, technically. Right? But let's get into it.
And I kind of alluded to it in one of my videos because I recently got broken up with, and I kind of alluded to it in one of my videos because I'm a content creator. I share my life. So obviously I was posting about my relationship, and like, this isn't something I was going to speak directly about at all, honestly, because I'm obviously a little hurt by it, but I'm also a mom and life goes on. But somebody commented something on one of my videos, on several of my videos, actually. It was obviously a fake page. So now I want to speak on it. Specifically, I want to speak on dating as a single mother and the standards that you should have and that you should never settle. And because I choose to share my life on social media, means that I'm sharing the ups and downs. And unfortunately, when you're dating and trying to find somebody to eventually marry, because I do date to marry, I want to be married one day and I want to have a family, you're going to go through heartbreak.
Hold on. Did she just say you should never settle, number one? And then she's saying she's dating to marry. But did she have her baby during her marriage, or did she have the baby first with a guy, become a single mom, and now she's dating to marry? Which means any guy who's coming into the situation, you are coming in to become a stepfather. So in other words, she has higher standards for you. She requires the new guy who's going to be a stepfather to marry her, but the guy she had kids with, she didn't have the same high standards. So men in this is why men are confused. It's like, why do you have higher standards for me, but you didn't have the same standards for the guy you had a baby with?
Some relationships are going to work out, some aren't. So I choose to be in a relationship with somebody, whether it works out or not. It's a chapter in my life, and I'm thankful for it because it comes with growth at the end of the day. And this person commented something like, oh, I wonder if it's her, the reason why the relationships fail. If it's me, if it's not, it doesn't matter. The only thing that I look at in these situations is that the relationship was not for me or for my son, because I cannot just date for myself. I also have to date with my son in mind because I have him 24/7. I am his primary parent. I'm his primary caretaker. And that's a lot of responsibility for a man to take on.
I mean, at least she's being honest and she's being transparent that, hey, I'm a single mom. I'm dating, I have a child, and she understands the fact that any man she deals with has to deal with her and her son. So you as the new guy going into the situation, do not cry and complain once you find out what being a rude stepfather is. She's being honest. She knows, because some single moms are delusional. They think just because the new guy who's coming into her life right away is never going to play stepdad or stepfather. But she's being honest and saying, hey, listen, I understand that I'm going to, whoever comes in is going to have to take care of me and my son in some capacity. So shout out to her for that.
So one, I have to be very selective in who I date. And two, the person I date has to also be prepared for, if we take this relationship a step forward, are you prepared for the responsibilities that come with being with me? I don't necessarily think that somebody has to be at fault or something has to be wrong with a person just because a relationship doesn't work out. I don't believe that at all, because you're seeing if somebody is going to be for you or not. And if you decide to date somebody who ends up not being for you, that doesn't mean that something's wrong with you at all. Dating is a journey and is a process, and I would say 10 times more serious when you have a child, and also harder when you have a child. Not impossible, but harder. I made a YouTube.
You know what? I'll give us some more credit. She just said that dating is harder when you have a child. Do you know how many single moms do not understand that? Do you know how many single moms believe that dating for them should be the same the way it was before they had the child? I mean, think about it. Dating a single mom, that means she has to find a babysitter, or maybe you guys are hanging out. She may have to cancel the plans, faster so she can go pick up her baby from whoever was taking good care of the kids. It's like, it's way harder. She's being honest about that. So many single moms reject that. They believe men should see them with kids the same way they saw them with before they had the kids, but it's impossible to see them like that.
YouTube video about this actually, and I'm super open to dating, obviously, because like I said, I want a family and I want to have more kids. But it's really important that you find the right person and find a person that's going to choose you and your child and everything that comes with that. And it's not for everybody, and that's okay. You're not supposed to be for everybody. And just because something doesn't work out doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you at all. So y'all will probably see me dating again eventually. I'm obviously not ready right now, but I'm never going to not be open to dating because I know what I want in life. And I'm still going to share that with y'all because one, it's my job, and two, I love to share my life. It's what I do for a living.
Now, I'll give her credit. Shout out to her. I'll give her credit because she's a good-looking woman. If we're going to be honest, guys, she is a pretty good-looking woman, right? So, which means that she's going to have more options than the average single mom. Nice curly hair, looks pretty young, look pretty in shape. But she also understands the fact that being a single mom is not going to be easy to date, which is good, right? So I'll give her some credit for that. But at the end of the day, she's going to have to also be the same way she expects a man who's going to be a stepfather to accept her. She's also going to have to accept the fact that she's going to have to kind of not have crazy high standards to say, because the new man is going to have to take on so much, especially since she wants marriage. Now that guy has to come in, pay for her child, play stepdad. Sometimes if the father, if her baby daddy is still involved in the child's life, now the new man has also to deal with the baby daddy, because sometimes some baby daddies are jealous. They may even, try to end your life, fight you, just because now you are dealing with their baby mama. As you can see, she's a good-looking woman. So I can assure you, even if she had 10 kids, many guys would still be in their DMs. So she has that going for her. But at the end of the day, she may have all these guys in her DMs, but how many guys are going to be willing to play stepfather, willing to deal with her baby daddy, willing to pay for her son, willing to pay for her, and willing to be there for the long-term commitment of which is called marriage. Very few guys will be down for that, but because she's a beautiful woman, very many guys will be in her DMs. So what do you guys think about that? Right. So next up we have next up we have the video here that I'm going to be reacting to. Let me share the screen with you guys. So this video is from the channel called Home Math. So he usually likes to break down videos in a very genius way. So that's why I like his channel and to watch his videos. But in this video, it's a short video, but he breaks down why, which technically is what he's saying, why many women will die single. As you're going to see, he's going to be breaking down why, you know how so many women like to deal or desire a very small percentage of men, whether it's because of the height, whether it's because of the money, status, name it. Most women want a very small minority of men, you know. So usually they say 20% of men, sometimes even 10 to 5%, wanted by 80% of the women, right? But he's going to be breaking down, you know, because women wonder why those guys they want don't want them. Yet the guys that want them, they don't want them back. So let's go through that real quick and let's see what he says.
Please make it make sense. Why do guys that I'm interested in end up not wanting to pursue me?
Because they are the same guys that everyone is interested in.
And then guys that I'm not interested in pursue me and pursue me hard and do not give up.
Because those are the guys that nobody is interested in.
Please make it make sense.
Okay. Human beings are born with a sense of fairness. We like to think that the universe is fair and everything evens out, but it's not and it doesn't. We think that things work a certain way, but it's actually just a feeling that we need to have. Otherwise, life would be a nightmare. We like to believe that there is someone out there for everyone, but in reality, it's only a few guys that are attractive to all the girls. The rest of these guys are practically invisible until they do something extra and then you notice them. In other words,
yeah, which he pretty much just explained how most of us guys grow up, especially from high school. If you're not like one of the top athletes in your high school, if you're the one of the guys who didn't come from a family that gave you money, your dad didn't pick you up in a nice car, or you're not like tall, like the most good-looking guy, or maybe you are not shy, you could talk to girls. Pretty much, girls don't really give you any time of the day till like you, in your, when you get older and make some money, and then maybe you get famous in some kind of way, or you could be even a doctor, it's being famous enough, then the girls who didn't want you in high school now want you. But now what the problem becomes that when you wanted them, they didn't want you, but now they want you because now you have made it to the top 20, maybe 10% of men. So women are always like, okay, all these guys are chasing me, but I don't want them. Because you, believe you me, guys, if you ever checked a woman's inbox messages, DMs, they usually have like hundreds of guys, throwing themselves at them. But they usually pick like just that one that they want, who never chases them that they want. It's crazy how the psychology of attraction works, but that's what it is.
They have to make up for their lack of attractiveness by being extra nice. That means that All women dream of being with just a few exciting men, so there's not enough to go around. So if we match 1-to-1, that means that most women will never get what they're looking for. This used to work better because women kind of had to get married when they had less power, so most people would match 1-to-1. But now that you have your own money, we don't match 1-to-1 anymore. We threw all those rules out the window, and now everything is a mess because women are no longer marrying who they must, and instead they are pursuing who they want, and it's all the same few guys.
I mean, that kind of gave them the leverage, you know. So back in the day, you could even find a very beautiful woman because she had no money. She would deal with a guy, with an average guy. So at the average height, average money, you know, he's not the guy who's most in shape, but she would deal with him because he loved her. He was willing to provide. But now, fast forward 30, 40, 60 years later, that same beautiful woman in 2025, if she has money, she has nothing, she wants nothing to do with the average guy. It doesn't matter how much the average guy worships the ground she walks on. It doesn't matter how many flowers that the average guy wants to buy her. It doesn't matter how many times the average guy wants to call her and tell her, I love you, morning, lunchtime, and midnight. It doesn't matter. All she wants now, you know, now that I have my own money, I want this guy. I want the Drake. I want the Chris Brown, you know, because I have my money. Now she wants a guy who has even more money, but even more good looking. So guess what? Most women want that top guy. So the average guy is left out unless something magically happens.
Let's say this is you. This is the guy that you're looking for, and he isn't interested in committing because he's got all the attention he can handle, and so does he. And here is the guy who's looking for you, and you're not interested in him, and neither is anyone else, except maybe her, but then he doesn't want to commit to her either. To make matters worse, dating apps give people the illusion of more options than they really have. So when you say,
Please make it make sense.
that is your brain trying to believe that people naturally pair off with someone at their own level. But that's not how nature works. Nature makes all the women want these few men, and then these men want these women who are not interested because they want Prince Charming, although Prince Charming is busy. And then these girls way down here are pursuing these guys who don't want to be seen with them. People love to forget that we are nature, we are animals, and we have a lower biological nature. And nature doesn't say, I should pick someone appropriate for me. Nature says I should get the best I possibly can, which creates a market. This website on Walrus.
Yeah, and that's why I can't blame the ladies, because sometimes, you know, we keep talking about how 80% of women want the top 10 or 20% of men, right? But it's nature at the end of the day. You know, it doesn't matter whether they will get the top 20% of a guy, but they will chase the guy for how long they can chase the guy. You know, and for as long as they get DMs, because sometimes you may look at a woman, and you think she's not that good looking, but Drake may be in her DMs. It doesn't matter, because Drake can pick and choose which type of a woman, you know, he can be with. That's why he has been with Serena, he has been with Rihanna, with Caesar, with all different types of women. It doesn't matter. Drake can have all the different types of women because he's the top 5%, maybe even 1% guy. Now, but all the women want him. So they will chase Drake for as long as they can, you know, until maybe at 55, 65, once they find out they will never get Drake, maybe they will give up. So most of them, that's why most women say they would rather die single than be with an average guy. It is what it is. It's nature. So I can't blame them. The same way an average guy may settle with an average woman, because men will just take what they can take. But if you gave that same average guy the most beautiful woman in the world, he will take the chance too. So I'm just being fair to both sides.
reproduction says that one male is shared by 23 females. At certain points in our history, 17 women reproduced for every one man, and throughout all of history, only 40% of men reproduce compared to almost 90% of women. So this is not new. It's just what male mammals do when nothing stops them. And if you want to go back to everyone matching one by one, then you have to go back to the rules that made it happen. But you said you didn't like those. So the reason that people no longer pair up one by one is that sexual freedom makes society collapse. This guy wrote a book about it, and just look at him. He tried to warn you. Here, I know none of you are going to read this. The whole of human history does not contain a single instance of a group becoming civilized unless it has been absolutely monogamous, nor is there any example of a group retaining its culture after it has adopted less rigorous customs. So the reason the guys you like don't like you and the other way around is because that's what people do when you let them.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Whole Math, and I'll definitely be linking his channel down below. You know, I like that he did explain some things that some women may not understand, because some women definitely do have questions of why some guys don't want them. The guys they want don't want them, but they have so many average guys who are worshiping the ground they walk on. You feel me? But at the end of the day, men want what they want, women want what they want. But like I always say, you can want whatever you want, but that doesn't guarantee that you are going to get that. All right. So next up, this is the case I was telling you guys about. This is very crazy because apparently this woman let her gay best friend, male guy best friend, clap them cheeks and she got pregnant. But the guy is saying the kid is not his. But let's find out. What do you guys think? You know, was he really gay? I honestly doubt the guy was gay. I have a feeling he acted gay because he wanted to be in the friend zone. Because some guys do that. They act like the male gay best friends to some women, so that with time, if there's an opportunity, they can clap them cheeks, if we're going to be honest. So he had the opportunity to clap them cheeks. Now, but he's saying the kid is not his, but the woman is saying the kid is his. Right? All right. Let's go through it and let's see. I honestly don't think he was gay. Like completely. Maybe he was bi, but I think some guys do this. I think he was in the friend zone, acted gay, or maybe he was bi, but in the friend zone. And when the opportunity came around, he decided he's going to clap them cheeks, because some women have said this. Some women would rather sleep with a guy they know as a friend than go out to sleep with a guy they know nothing about, with a stranger. So they will feel more comfortable because they know you as a friend to sleep with than go find a new man to sleep with. So that's why I believe he was able to take the opportunity. So I think he liked her over time. You know why this case is very weird? Because if the roles were changed and she said the exact same words he said, that she seduced him, and after making him drink and everything, that he would be in jail for sexual assault, if not rape. If we're gonna be honest, if the roles were changed, he would be in jail. Because women do this all the time. They drink with a guy, and then later they say the guy seduced them after they got drunk. But it's like you're both drunk. So he would be in jail if the roles were reversed for so long. So clearly he knows her very well. He knows if she has been in the streets, because usually when women have gay male best friends, they usually tell them all their business. So she probably has told him all the different guys she has been with, maybe to get him jealous or just be comfortable and, telling him her business. So if he says she has been in the streets, I kind of agree with him. So if I was him, I would also just deny, because if I've seen you be in the streets, now you want to put the baby on me just because we had a one night stand? We need a DNA test for sure. Streets. She ain't playing around. And you know what's funny about this? He may actually be the father, so I wouldn't be surprised, because so many times women could, especially if they don't have like a boyfriend, long-term relationship, some women don't mind to have a baby with a guy they have known for so long, and they know like he has like a stable job, has like a stable career, he's a all-around nice guy, he doesn't get into trouble. They would rather have a baby with a guy, even if they're not in a stable long-term relationship, committed relationship, than have a baby with a guy, who doesn't have his shit together. In other words, they don't mind having a baby with a guy they have no serious relationship with, but they know he's just stable. That's why some of you guys, even in your lives, I'm sure some of you guys, if you have like a good job and you're just all around nice guy, you may not be in a relationship with a woman, but as soon as you guys get sexually active and she gets pregnant, she may refuse to remove the baby because she sees you as a potential good father, even if you guys are not in a relationship. So she sees the chance and she takes it because you were a good guy on paper. To how some of you guys think that just because she's a big girl or a woman is a BBW or she's overweight, that she got no options. Some guys don't mind. So when she says she's been with 4 guys or 3 different guys, I believe her, because some guys don't mind. Not every guy is getting bodies. Not every guy has an opportunity to have a girlfriend. So when he runs into a woman like her, he doesn't mind. Just because she's overweight, some guys don't care. They see it as a quick chance to, have some sex, if we're gonna be honest. So if you see a big woman and you think no one wants her, they have plenty of guys who want her. Now, it may not be for a long-term relationship, but you best believe they have plenty of guys in their DMs. I have not watched this the whole way through, but I think he's not the father. I think she doesn't know who the real father is, because she only told us about 3 guys she was with before she slept with her gay best friend. But I believe she could have slept with more than 3 guys that she forgot, and some guys maybe she forgot about if she was too drunk. That's what I believe. So he may not actually be the father, and that's just going to create more drama. But let's watch. Girls be telling all their business to their gay best friends, if we're going to be honest. A gay best friend to a girl will know more about the girl more than her boyfriend. Facts. She will tell all her secrets, all her business to her gay best friend, things that she will never tell the boyfriend. So the boyfriend will know all the guys she has been with, when she cheats, who she sleeps with, who she does stuff with. Literally said exactly what I say. Some women will get pregnant by a guy they see would make a good father, even if they have no relationship with a guy, but even if it's just a friend. So if they can't find a guy to be in a relationship with, the next choice they will go for is the guy who's in the friend zone. They'll have a baby with him and they'll keep the baby because that guy in the friend zone will be a good father. He's stable, he's a good guy, because they know so much about him. So they make they make the risk assessment and like, okay, if I have a baby with him, will he be a good father? Will he give me child support? Will he run away? So they're like, you know what? It's a good bet. And then they'll do that. And then they'll go back to the streets. I knew it. And the reason I knew it, because it took her 3 years to try to tell him that he's the father. And that's why I said she only told us about the 3 guys she has been with. But I'm sure, like he said, because he's the gay best friend, women tell all their business to their gay best friend. So I'm sure she has been with more than 3 guys. Dang. All right, guys, I'm going to move on to the next video. All right. All right, so next up, we are going to review this video of the white lady who gave birth to a black baby. As you can see, this woman, had to do. Give me 1 second, guys. So this woman ended up giving birth to a black baby because apparently she froze her eggs, got artificial insemination, but she got artificial insemination, but the baby she gave birth to was black. Now she's suing the clinic because the baby, she's saying, I asked for a white baby, you guys gave me a black baby. Let's get into it.
Ori's long journey to motherhood took a path she never thought possible.
I spent my entire life wanting to be a mom. I loved, nurtured, and grew my child, and I would have done literally anything in my power to keep him.
After years of fertility and IVF treatments, she gave birth to a healthy baby boy in December of 2023.
What was your immediate reaction after you gave birth?
I was happy. I was a mom. He was beautiful and perfect, but it was also very clear that something was wrong.
She vividly remembers the shock when she saw her baby for the first time. Whereas Christina is a Caucasian woman who chose a sperm donor with a similar appearance, the baby she delivered was African American.
An at-home DNA test result that January confirmed what Christina suspected. The baby was not hers. On February 5th, Christina's lawyers reached out to the fertility clinic, Coastal Fertility Specialist, informing them of the mix-up.
And just let them know, what the results were and asked for answers.
In March, Coastal Fertility informs the other couple their embryo was transferred to Christina, that family taking legal action to obtain custody. In a family court hearing that May, Christina decides to give up the baby voluntarily.
It's like the happiest.
You know what it means to be born through this chaos as a child, and then they grow up and then they're telling you all these stories, how you were a test tube baby and how you were born from a white woman, but then your black parents wanted you back. And then it's like, this is going to be so confusing. For me, all I see is the emotional trauma this baby is going to have once they learn about how they came to be in this world. That's all I see here. Because these are adults, playing with a kid's life at the end of the day.
Day of their life is like the worst day of mine. So like everyone's happy and joyous, and then there's me losing my entire life all at once.
Now Christina is suing Coastal Fertility Specialists in a complaint filed in a Georgia court.
Errors like this should never occur in a fertility clinic. This is the cardinal sin.
The actions of the fertility clinic have come very close to destroying me, have left irreparable damage to my soul, and ultimately left me questioning whether I should be a mom or not.
In a statement, Coastal Fertility Specialist says in part, it deeply regrets the distress caused by an unprecedented error, adding this was an isolated event with no further patients affected. The same day this error was discovered, we immediately conducted an in-depth review and put additional safeguards in place to further protect patients and to ensure that such an incident does not happen again. Christina's
I think this is probably one of the women that, maybe she didn't find the man she wanted and she froze her eggs, and then she went out to choose a white man to have a baby with, with artificial insemination. But I see this problem happening more and more going into the future. And you're going to ask me how. I see this being an issue because many women are already doing it. I mean, it's kind of expensive, but some women are already freezing their eggs. But what's going to happen is they may, especially the women who are going to be looking for tall guys, they're going to go to a sperm banks and they're going to look for guys who have genes like being tall, being white, being black, being athletic, all those things. And then there are going to be so many mix-ups. So I foresee so many lawsuits with regards to people being mixed up, because remember, so many women want tall guys, but there are very few tall guys. So the very few tall guys who who donate sperm to sperm banks, when women who freeze their eggs finally go to get sperm for a tall baby from a tall guy, there could be so many mix-ups the way I see it. If not, they are going to raise prices of sperms from guys who are tall, who are good looking, who are not bald like me, and they will become more expensive. But being a child born like that and being told how you came into this world, I just see so much, mental trauma.
His attorney also says government regulation is needed.
Christina's situation at Coastal Fertility is just one example of the crazy mishaps that can occur at a fertility center because they are largely unregulated. There are no reporting requirements when errors are made. There are no random and unannounced inspections. There are no statewide or federally required certifications for the staff who work at fertility clinics.
As for Christina, her long journey to motherhood is not over.
It sounds like you haven't given up your dream of becoming a mom.
I have not given up. I have started the process over again with another clinic. And I'm hopeful that in the next year or two, I can try again.
Or you could just find you a man, to have a baby with. Maybe just a good man. Because it doesn't guarantee that just because you get a sperm from a guy who is white, tall, muscular, maybe he has hair, it doesn't guarantee that the kid will grow up right, especially because the kid is going to grow up without the father. Because what if the kid grows up and then wants to find his father? Then what do you tell the kid? Man, that's going to be tough. Because I would rather, I think any kids who grow up like that would rather grow up, and they're told the father died than being told they will never have a chance to see their father because all he did was donate his sperm and he left. And now, they don't know who the father is. That's selfish.
And Priya Sridhar joining us now from Savannah, Georgia. Priya, to put it mildly, this is a shocking incident, but I guess not entirely unheard of. How common is this, and is there anything that families can do to ensure it doesn't happen to them?
Yeah, that's right, Sam. Christina's lawyer said that this is rare, but certainly not unprecedented. He's actually represented thousands of clients who were fertility patients at clinics across the country over the last 13 years. And they've had a variety of cases, including embryo mix-ups, but also freezer malfunctions that have caused embryos and eggs to be destroyed, or fertility specialists who have dropped vials of eggs and embryos on the ground. He actually thinks that the prevalence of these cases may be higher than we even know, because in Christina's specific case, it was very evident since the race of her baby was different from her own. And he believes that perhaps moving forward, anyone who has a baby through IVF will want to genetically test it to ensure that the baby is biologically theirs.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, this is going to be tougher and tougher and harder. And there's going to be so many mistakes, like I said, like I predicted. And they just said the mistakes are already over there, but they probably just don't report them. And it's going to become more expensive. And what's even worse, that at least she had a mixed baby, right? She was able to have a baby, but the baby wasn't from her egg. No, I think the egg was hers, but the sperm she wanted was not the one she wanted. So she had a mixed baby, but the sperm was different. But what I think is even worse are the ladies who freeze their eggs, and then when they finally want to have, a child, or maybe they meet a man, the eggs are not good anymore. So it's like the woman will marry a guy. He will be okay with the fact that the woman froze her eggs because she can't have kids anymore, let's say in her 50s. But now they want a baby only to find out the eggs are not good anymore. Now what happens? Do they divorce? Crazy times, But anyway, man, next topic. Next video is going to be coming from the Saint and the Sinners channel, man. This was a good discussion with this lady here, talking about how, some Black women just want to argue in the relationship with their man all the time. It's like there's no peace. They just want to argue with you back and forth, back and forth. And it's like, is it worth it? So let's get into it without further ado.
Contrarian.
Would you?
Contrarian is a person who always disagrees, and it's a particular disposition that you should be thoughtful about, because you'll never get peace with a woman if everything is a debate. Some of the things you got to be able to say something, and she'd be like, okay, cool, I can roll with that. And I'll give you a little bit of game that my auntie gave me. And mind you, me, even as a leader, and the only reason I'm like having this conversation with you is because the podcast is on. Because if I encountered you in real life and you had all these opinions, I'd just be like, oh, super, fantastic. And I would just like go like away.
I would do the same with you.
You're lying. But point is this. My auntie Val told me two things. She said, number one, you can be in love or you can be right.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell that you have a strong need to be right, because you debate things that even aren't debatable. And then the second thing my auntie Val said, she said, men and women are different. But the note of a good woman is, say you're driving in a car with your man and he's about to make a left turn and you know that's the wrong turn. And you say, hey, honey, like, I think it's probably to the right. And he's like, no, I've been down this road many times. It's to the left. She said, a smart woman just like, all right, shit. And she just seals it. And she says, you're the man I chose to be with. And if you're going to lead me this way, that's where we going. And
that's facts, man. No man wants to be questioned, challenged all the time. It's not even a case of, hey, I'm doing wrong, don't correct me. It's more like with everything the man says, some women will want to say the opposite all the time. Like, challenge. It gets annoying. It gets tiresome. It's just not good. It's like, can we just agree on something for once? And usually what happens when some guys can't speak up about that situation, they turn into the yes men. The same yes men women grow to resent and hate. It's like he's already saying yes to everything I say. Yes, that's because you're always challenging him and he's tired of it. So some guys become the, happy wife, happy life kind of guy, yes man. But even those guys, the women get to resent them and hate them because it's like they're pushovers.
The wisdom in that is this. If he turns the wrong way, all they got to do is make a U-turn and go back the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So if you signed up to be with a man, you got to be on this program. And one thing I know about you, the reason you want to be equal, you don't want him to be the leader. You don't want him to be above, because you're not willing to submit to his program. You always want to be on your own program.
Actually, for me, I believe that each person brings something to,
right.
I mean, but
on the contrary.
On the contrary, it turns out that my ideals and the things that I believe are very different from what's been coming out, which is why I have been debating, is because I just believe things differently. That's all.
I'm going to say this. To your ideals, if you lived in a world like that, it would actually end up biting you back because you have no structure. Literally, there's no structure. Yeah. You're like everything goes. Yes. And eventually, because you didn't set structure up to protect yourself, right, you will end up getting bit by the same people you let
like you preach that doctrine to.
I
That's
don't
the
think
issue with
everything
that.
goes. I don't think everything goes.
That's why I
no.
think
Yeah, this reminds me. Have you guys heard of how sometimes there's a saying that some women will do and listen to their boss, but they would never do the same for their man, the man they sleep next to every single night. What do I mean by that? Their boss will literally call them at 3 a.m. Hey, I got some paperwork I need by 6 a.m. Can you come in right now? They will get up and go to the office, right? Yet, if their man told them, hey, can you make me a sandwich at 11 p.m., they will say they are so tired, they had a long day. So in other words, they listen to their bosses more than they listen to their man. The same man they expect to pay the bills. The same man they expect to protect them if someone breaks into the house. The same man they expect to be kind to them. It's crazy.
hierarchy is better for it to be someone above you, because someone above you will like protect you at that point. But you have no one to protect you when no one's above you.
I don't think everything goes. And I
think
do
about
like
hold
I
on,
will
hold
say
on.
like
You know the mafia, right? You know the mafia, right?
Yeah.
Like this is like Vegas, right? So like, you know, they come in the room, they like, man, it'd be a shame that this building burnt down. Like, you know, like, you know, so you got to give them some money, you know, they're above you, but there's no other gangs out there damaging your stuff. You got them to protect you because you're paying them off. Now you don't have any gangs, everyone's going to trash your building. At that point, you don't understand hierarchy. Human beings will do it naturally every single time. And if you don't get it, you can't even, if you don't get it, you ain't going to get it. You won't get any power at all. You'll actually be a powerless human being walking this world because you're not willing to accept that there is hierarchy. You can gain power by understanding the concept of hierarchy, but you don't gain no power by continuously pushing it off. So you being a contrarian, or I can't say this word.
Contrarian.
Right. Get this word out of my mouth.
Contrarian.
All right. But you know, like you won't be able to gain anything in life because you'll always be in the gray area, not making a decision. And realistically, no one respects anyone who can't make a solid decision about life. You're always in the gray. You sound like you're in the gray area.
So I feel like that has sort of gone all over the place. What I'll say is this. I understand hierarchy of, like, you gave the analogy of the sports. Person is scoring this. That person is better at that game. Obviously, when we talk about
is your
gender,
man the head of the household?
I would say that in my relationship,
Maybe yes or no. One time.
neither one of us is the head of the household because
Neither one is the head of the
neither
household.
And that's the issue right there. So she cannot answer if the man is the head of the household, but I can guarantee you, she will gladly tell you the man should provide and the man should protect her and should be nice and should treat her like a princess. Those 4 things she will answer, right? Because if you ask her, should the man provide, she's never going to say, no, we're going to go 50-50. Or should he protect you? She's never going to say we should protect each other. Or if somebody attacks you, should he protect you? She won't say no. But when it comes to, is the man the head of the household, she can't answer that. Yeah, crazy times.
one of us is the head of the household and both of us are the head of the household because both of us have different skills that we bring to the table.
Do you have
So
2
I
heads
will
right now on top of your body?
I
you have
will,
2
what
heads
you
on top of
call
your body.
submitting, I will submit in the areas that I know I'm not good at this. I don't have a great understanding of this thing, but there are certain things where maybe I am more skilled. Maybe I do have more experience. Maybe I do have a better understanding or something. And I might.
Hey, let them goons come. What's up?
Like, that's just called harmonious.
I just have a question.
Yes.
Can each of you define head of the household?
Beautiful.
Good
Beautiful question. I define head of the household as the one that's in charge, who I need to go see.
Can you give specific examples
the
of how we
chief,
can?
The leader, the person who you say, that's the person who makes all the big important decisions. That's who I report to.
Okay,
That's
so
who would be head of the
decision
household.
making is what defines
Yes,
head
who
of
has
the
the
household.
final say. Yes.
Do either of you believe that a couple can make a decision together?
Absolutely. So when I
course.
say head of household, it's the final decision. That doesn't mean you make most of the decisions. That means if there's a time where the opinions come into conflict, you make the final decision. I'll give you an example. One of the things we know in female nature is that your inclination is to beautify, which is to say that you want to do your interior decorating, you want to decorate yourself. All these things are very expensive. And so as a male, one of your responsibilities is to manage the fiscal affairs and let her know, like, hey, look, now we're not going to get the love seat and the couch and this and put all this art. Now we ain't doing all that shit. You're going to get 2 couches. You ain't getting 3 couches. We might give you 1 painting here, but we're going to manage the finances. But there are other times where the female might dominate. So, for example, if it's meals, she should say when the meals are. She should be preparing the meals. And if you're overeating, she should probably say, Jabrizi, bro, I think you ate enough today. Like, she should be that in tune to know what your cycles are, what comforts you, what calms you, what's good for you, what's not. And so a lot of the minor affairs, which are more numerous in the household, the female will be insightful on. And a wise leader always consults the people around him because they're intelligent, right? So I think the problem is that this perspective assumes that leadership means domination and abuse and tyranny, when leadership might mean that I'm just taking the sum of the intelligence here and guiding it somewhere, or I'm setting a couple standards. And
I like the way they broke down the leadership explanation, but I'm even going to take it a step further. I don't think they had to. You know why? Because every one of those women have a job and they know what leadership is at work. They know who the boss is, who's the next of kin is, who the supervisor is. They know who their supervisor reports to. They know who they need to go to in case of, they don't get their paycheck. Maybe in case of any issue, they can go to HR. They know what leadership is. They know what hierarchy is. But for some reason, when it comes to a relationship with a man, then they don't know what leadership is. Then they don't know what it means for a man to be a leader. Then they don't know what role a leader plays in the relationship. So for me, they're just playing dumb because, again, they don't want to accept the fact that a man will be a leader in a relationship. But even men, we have seen so many times that relationships tend not to work.
And it kind of saddens me because I know that, like, your father didn't care for you and you didn't grow up in a situation where your father was like a guy you looked up to, like, this is my rock. Like, he loves me. He's always going to take care of me. And I saw him execute this with my mother and with me. So I can release and submit and relax. And the most beautiful thing for a woman is when she could sit back and say, Daddy got it. You heard me? He got it. I ain't got to worry about a goddamn thing.
Every man wants to hear.
So what do you think about relationships where the woman in the relationship is in charge of the finances because she's better at balancing the budget and she's more on top of it? Because that happens.
That does happen.
She could be in charge of the finances, right? But the question is, does she pay the bills out of her own money that she worked for? Now, if that's the case, it's just a matter of time before she has a problem with it. If you are saying she's paying the bills and everything in the household from her own money that she worked for, it's just a matter of time before she finds a new man whose money will be used to pay for those things. That's just the facts. Because I don't know if that's what she's trying to ask, but if that's what she's trying to say, if that's her point, then the answer is it's just a matter of time before she finds a man whose money she can use to manage the finances.
Happen. And hurricanes often happen as well. They're disasters. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad for a woman to manage finances, but what I know that's very likely about that female who's managing the finances in her household, if she's the final word on it, if she's the higher bread earner, it's very likely that she's boxing below her weight class, which is to say, instead of getting a man who outstrips her in that regard, she'd rather get a guy who's below her so she can manage him and run his program.
She can boss him around.
And it's fascinating, isn't it? So another thing to consider is this. I often hear women say, Marquette, like, you talk about men being leaders. What if your man isn't a good leader? And I say,
then don't be with him. But also the only issue with what if a man is not a good leader, point that some ladies like to use, it's like, why are you with him if he's not a good leader? Number one. Number two, when did you find out he's not a good leader? Is it because he told you to do something? Now he's not a good leader. Now you're calling him controlling because he's trying to hold you accountable for some shit you did. So we need to find out, why are you with him if he's not a good leader? And number two, when did he start becoming not a good leader? Well, give us examples of that.
That happens all the time. go find a man who is, baby. Like,
Exactly.
go for the best in life. There's a man out there who can lead you. He's a great man because you're a great woman. So that means you just got to go get that 1%, 2%, 3% men who are at the tippy top. You heard me? But quit playing around with these guys down here, because you're never going to be truly happy and fulfilled when you're looking down on your man. You're 5'2", looking down on him, and he's 6'3". That look like.
Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah.
You
I think
understand
that
it, but
I
you
think
don't
that's
feel it.
fair. No, I think that's fair, and that's definitely valid. I think for some people it might be a little bit different based on what their needs are, what they're looking for, what they want. But I absolutely
They need
feel
to win.
That's
what they need to do.
valid.
They
Yeah.
need to win, and to
You
win,
know what the
you get a good
trippy
team.
thing is? Even though we think we're unique, even though he dressed like some Harry Potter pimp and I'm dressed like I didn't just came from Zamunda, even though we all might look different, at the end of the day, we're mostly the same. So there's not anything radically unique about what we want. Even if you look at males or females in homosexual relationships, they still want the same things that people in heterosexual relationships want. And the truth is that people who are afraid of being with a male leader, that's because either they lacked it, they don't know what it is, or they were under a man who is tyrannical.
Yeah, so pretty much no father in the household is what you just explained. Or maybe there was a father, but he was a yes man to the mom. Or maybe there was a father, but the father let the daughter do whatever she wants. So when she finds a man, it's like she thinks she's gonna walk all over you just because she walked all over her father. So I definitely see where he's coming from.
And it's just fear or ignorance. Ignorance means you didn't experience it. Fear, you experienced a man, but he wasn't a real man. He was a piece of shit. And that's why you're behaving in that broken way. That's all it is.
I think that's
fine.
I'd say that's fair.
Damn, it's the first thing you agreed on.
Oh,
God damn.
Listen,
Damn.
I'm
that's fair.
honest.
My
I'm
God,
honest. So if I agree, I'll say that's fair.
Oh
I
my
agree. If I
God.
don't agree, I will not pretend to
The
agree.
pimping is starting to get to her. I think.
Oh,
it's
you
a
not
little,
pimping.
a little bit get. Oh, she's.
But I
All right, man. Shout out to the Senate and the Senate. What do you guys think about that? Sorry, guys, my stream was interrupted because apparently I was viewing a video as it's supposed to be viewing. But I'll link down below all the channels and the descriptions. And for now, I'll stop right here. Don't forget to subscribe, support your boy. Until next time, peace.